anyway, don't read. What's the final I stayed up until 2:30 in the morning studying for? Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, welcome to my channel. My name is Sadasa. I make lifetime and nursing related videos because I'm a nursing major. If you like, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below, and if you don't, that's totally fine. I'm just a normal girl doing normal things, and sometimes that can be kind of boring. Well, today you guys are going to come along with me on finals week. I meant to start it this morning, but that didn't really happen. A lot of stuff went wrong this morning. I'll actually show you guys. I don't know if you can see much. But I went to donate plasma. I got there at 9, didn't get to this chair until like 10. And then I finally get in the chair, and he first asked me, he said he saw a small vein in the middle of my arm and a larger vein on the side. So he went with it for the larger one, but I got an infiltration. So I didn't even get paid for it. And I kind of need that money, but it's okay. So I just went to study for the rest of the day. I studied from 1 to 5. And then me and my friend Maya, we went our separate ways to go get food and stuff. And I got a coffee. And then we went to a study session for our club. Our president just booked a room for us to just study so we wouldn't have to be in the stuffed library. And we stayed there from 6 to 10. So that's what happened. I have to go to sleep. My first test is tomorrow, my health assessment test. I have to make if I made an 80 on my head to toe. We don't know what we made on our head to toe yet. But if I made an 80 on my head to toe, I have to make at least a 62 on the final. But I'm shooting for at least a B. That's what the numbers are. So, you guys will come with me tomorrow to see what I make for my health assessment test and how I study for my next test, which is the next day, which is pharmacology. The one I'm most nervous about. I'll see you guys later. Hi! Welcome. I'm gonna try to sit y'all right there, straight. Did that work? Woo! It worked! Hi! So it is, I don't have on my watch, but it is some time of day. 10:56. My health assessment final was at 9 o'clock. It took me about it took me 45 minutes. It was 100 questions long, and I made a 79. So as long as I make at least a 62 on my head to toe assessment, I pass this class with a B. So one final down, 1 B secured. So tomorrow I have pharmacology. To make a B in pharmacology, I have to make a 75. So as long as I make my B, because I was shooting for a B on all my finals, but I still want to know like what I had to make to pass the class. So for that class, I have to make at least a B to get a B in the class. So I'm gonna study for that starting at probably around noon, maybe 1. I will study until about 10 o'clock. I might take a big break, like a big 1 hour, 2 hour break later. But once I get started, I'm gonna keep going for a hot second. So I'm gonna take time to relax. So that's one final down, health assessment. And then at the end of this video, doing cupcake chat, I'm going to break down how I take for each class. But right now, just grades and study. I'll see you guys a little later. Hello. It is currently 17:07. And I don't know why I have because I feel like there's nothing you can miss when I put the camera so far away. My arm ends up hurting. But I just went over. Where can I put you guys? Can I put you guys here? You might be able to see me. I'll back you up just a little bit. Okay, so hi. I am in the library. I just went over eye, ear, and derm drugs and GI drugs, which is our exam 4, which I made a 76 on. And then I'm going over exam 6 after I get my food. Okay, I'm sitting here with my friend Maya, and she's gone right now. She went to get us pizza. I got a cheese pepperoni pizza, and I got a French crust too. And she got pizza, so she went to get our pizzas. And I'm going over farm. We have our farm episode. Okay, so we have our farm test tomorrow. Our farm final. I have to make a 76 on the final to pass the class with a B. So no matter what, I'm passing this class. I just get a C. Okay, I think about this test and I get very overwhelmed, so I'm trying to stop myself from crying right now. But I just went over eye, ear, derm, and GI drugs because that was my second to lowest score, which was a 76. And the exam 6 for this class, trash. So I'm going over that next. Actually, I already have it pulled out because I was going to go over it first, but Maya was already going over exam 4, which I had to go over anyway. So I was like, I'll just do exam 4 with you, and I'll do it. Whew. Okay, so sorry. Let me explain what happened. These are all my drugs. This is including CNS drug and yep. So these are all my CNS and anti-inflammatory drugs, and I guess I just pulled it up off the floor and realized how much paper it was. It's just specifically too, because it's I guess this class specifically, I get very upset with because it takes me back to my pre-nursing times. Like being in nursing school is so much easier to get through because when I'm in that dark place, it's like I'm in nursing school. I go to clinicals. I go to simulation. I get to do what I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life, rather than like when I was doing micro and human development, and I was spending hours in the library trying to learn stuff that I'm never going to use again. That really brought down my mental health. So while my mental health is trash, it's better than it was last semester kind of thing, because I'm doing what I love. I guess Taco brings me back to forever ago, because I'm never going to see some of these drugs after I graduate from this program. Ever. I'm never going to see some of these drugs after this specific class. So it's like, you're making me push information in my head that I don't need. The best way I can explain it to you is this picture that Maya put all the drugs for our exam 4 on the board, so we can look at that drug and know the specific drug rather than the category. Because they're going to put the drug, not the category, on the test. So this is what it looks like. Yeah. And I was sitting here. I was looking at all those drugs. I was like, that's only 1/6 of our test, possibly. So now I'm sitting here like I gotta have this times 6 in my head. And that's supposed to be normal, and that's expected, and that's okay. It's okay. for me to force all this information in my head with some of it I probably will never see again. That's the hard part for me. But anyway, oh my god. Whew. I think how I'm feeling right now has a lot more to do with me knowing when I'm pushing my mental health aside. I didn't know I would feel like this so much right now today. Like, I didn't know that's how I would feel. So I'm just trying to shake it off so I can just, you know, keep forcing stuff in my head. I think when I say stuff like that, that's when I'm like, when it's getting worse. I don't know if it makes any sense. I don't know if I really care about this kind of stuff, but I thought I should put it on there because it's nursing school. Everybody wants to see when you're following the parts of nursing school, and this is it for me. I'm just trying to de-escalate and relax right now, because as soon as Maya comes back, I'm going to start studying again, so that I can make sure I got at least the 2 tests that I didn't do good on. I want to shove those in my brain, because everything else I feel like is there. I just need to reinforce it, kind of thing. So I'll see you guys later. Hello. Here's an I needed to make on my phone TV class. So I made 77, I made 76 to get it time. Now I'm very nervous because it's such a so there were a lot of questions and no one it was not key questions like something that told me. Like, it was just a whole different ball game. Again, I'm going to give you guys all the little nitty-gritty details at the end of this video. But I want to let y'all know I did make a B. It is currently 5:45. I actually went to get food, groceries, because I kept spending $8, $9 on meals when I could just go to the grocery store. So that's what I did. So I'm about to eat. And then I'm going to go to the library. And I don't know what I'm going to bring, but I need to bring something because I'm not going to buy anything. I'm thinking about asking someone for $5 so I can get a coffee, and that'll be the only thing I like buy. But other than that, I'm gonna eat, and then around 6 o'clock, 6:15, I'm gonna head to the library. Hello. Let me see if I can sit y'all there for a second. Perfect. I'm just gonna play some music and get on studying. Me and Maya are studying fluid and electrolyte together, but she went to run a little errand, so I'm gonna start on what my lowest exam grade was, which was a 79. So I'm gonna work on those first, and then I'll get a 79 with them too as well. So right now I'm gonna go through our last test. That's the one I'm gonna do good on. Going forward. So I didn't say that right, but I hope you guys know what I meant. I'll see you guys later. Hi. I haven't wanted to vlog. I don't know why. I haven't really wanted to vlog, but this is me preparing to leave because I made 82 on my pharmacology final, and I finished my J1 semester of nursing school with a B in all 3 of my classes: pharmacology, fundamentals, and health assessment. So in this kind of like cupcake chat section of the video, I am going to talk to you guys about every single test, so it should be pretty, or it might be pretty long, but I'm going to go test by test and tell you guys what's up. So before I get started, this is my J1 binder. It's all the information from my J1 semester in one binder. This is what I used to study for all 3 tests. So let's start with fundamentals. That was my last test. That's the test I wasn't as stressed about. That test, literally, I knew all the information that was on the test. I saw what I got wrong, and it was because I didn't review it. So I didn't have it at the forefront of my mind, if that makes any sense. But the way I studied for that is, here is my study guide for fundamentals. So I wrote down each test, and then I wrote down what I made on those tests. So for these classes, I made like an 84 in this one, 79 and 76. Technically, I made both of those grades, and that's a whole different setup that I might explain in a different video, might not. It's not that important at all. But the raw grades, basically, yeah, raw grades I made were the 76, 82, 78, and 76. So I made 3 B's and 3 C's. I wish that one was a B so bad, but with the extra points, I made 4 B's and 2 C's, if that makes any sense. But I basically wrote all the PowerPoint / chapters down that we learned, and then I started backwards. So I started with this chapter that I made, this test that I made a 76 on, and I studied all of those. So if it's highlighted yellow, that means I in-depth studied it. I reviewed the PowerPoint slides, and then I took a quiz, a test, reviewed some review questions, let's see what we learned, questions, that kind of thing. Now if it's pink, and most of the pink is on tests that I did good on. So like the first test, this second test that I made at 76 on as well, it was like half of the information was really hard and half of it wasn't. So I kind of split it up there. This test, our test 3 was mostly on like legal documentation type stuff. So that one wasn't really hard in the information part. For me, it was more hard in the vocabulary part. So I went over a lot of questions that have vocabulary, so I can get to used to saying those words, kind of thing. And then I have these shapes on the side. The stars means that she posted study cards about it, and the squares meant she posted a Kahoot about it. So I did those, especially if it was pink. I would just do those quizzes and then move on, see what I got right or wrong, move on. But for the other ones, I went through the PowerPoint, all of that. And on this test, I made a 72. So I finished this class with a B. I needed a 76. And I made a 72. I mean, I needed a 56 and I made an 82. Don't know where those numbers came from, but that is the actual numbers. So fundamentals was not hard at all. That was my last final. Not hard at all. So my middle final was the final I stayed up until 2:30 in the morning studying for. It was hard. It was really hard. That final was very hard. This is not pharmacology. This is pharmacology. So yeah, that final was extremely hard. Exhaustingly hard. I did the exact same setup except for the grades. I didn't go over it by what grade I made on it. I just went through and studied the drugs I knew I did not know. So respiratory, well, our first test was of course drug calc and stuff, so there wasn't any drugs on there. But our second is respiratory and cardiac drugs. I had like the back of my hand. This is what all my exams for pharmacology were about, all the drugs. These are not all the chapters. There are so many more chapters. So I wrote down my drug. And as I was studying, I went down and put stars next to the stuff I needed to study. So the morning before the test, I went over the stuff that had stars by it. And then that test, it was so hard. I tell you, it was so hard. I made a 77 on that test. I needed a 76. And I made a 77. So actually she added 2 points back, so I made a 79. But my raw grade was a 77 and I needed a 76 to make a B in the class. So that's how I got my B in pharmacology. Studying for this test was very hard and very overwhelming. I think I do have a clip in the earlier in the video about how many drugs. You would just see all the drugs, and I'm sitting here studying stuff that I might never see again. Like, it's different with fundamentals, because with fundamentals I'm going to be using that my entire nursing career. Health assessment, entire nursing career. Will I ever see some of these drugs ever again? No. But I had to learn them for this class because I might possibly by chance use them, which makes me very upset. I don't know if that makes any sense to anybody else, but it really does bring me back to like before I joined the nursing program. Like, one of my biggest motivators in this program is the fact that I am learning stuff that I will use for the rest of my life, and pharmacology is one of those classes, but that's not necessarily true. So studying for that class, that's all I was thinking about, and I'm sitting here pushing stuff into my brain that I might never use again, and I haven't felt like that in a very long time. And the last time I did feel like that, it made my summer so full of negativity. I didn't know if I was going to start the nursing program. So that's why I had so much anxiety about that test. It was my middle test. As soon as that test was over, I promise you all the weight was lifted off my shoulders, because the next test, like I said, was my last test, fundamentals. I knew I had that in the bag. I knew that information. It's just pharmacology. Yes, I knew the information, like respiratory drugs, cardiac drugs. I could probably give you a lot of information about that. Our fifth test, antibacterials, antipsychotics, I could probably give you a lot of information about that too. But it's just the fact that we had so many drugs, endocrine drugs, ANS drugs. I can give you so many. Like, I'm sitting here looking at the other, I can give you so much info. It's just the type of information that you have to know. And then for this test, we had no repeat questions. So it was a bunch of new questions. And she said, like, for my J1, like a lot of J2s, they thought it was going to be like their final. And it was not. It was not at all. Our final was completely different questions. And I want to tell you, like, the way I'm going to say that, then maybe I shouldn't say it like that. But basically, read the book. Like, please don't read the final exam, because even before the test started, this woman said everything else other than reproductive, that we didn't get quizzed on that, so that would have been the only new information on our test. She said everything else we have learned before. So I emailed her and I was like, this information, there was like 5, 6, 7 questions on gauges of needles. There was one slide on our final exam information that she gave us. One slide that had all that information on it. We were not lectured on it. That was an optional document to go over. And I emailed her and I was like, we didn't get lectured over this in fundamentals, nor did we get lectured in it in pharm. So I didn't think it was fair that we got tested over it, when she said that we were getting tested over stuff we learned. So that was a lie. Like, it was a lie, because she emailed me back and said, well, it was in the book. And I'm like, sure, fine, dandy. That is absolutely fine with me. I didn't read the book, so I missed those questions. But don't sit here and tell me that everything that's on our test, we got lectured over, that we learned in the semester, because we did not learn that. So she lied to us, and the reason she lied to us is because it was in the book. That's not okay to me. So I was very upset about that. We ended up getting 2 points back. Don't know what for. We didn't review. She just said, there's no point in reviewing. You can just leave when the test is over. We left when the test was over. But I did not like that situation at all. I'm really glad I'm done with pharmacology, because I did not like that situation, how I had to study for the final. Did not like any of it at all. So, boom. Hopefully y'all can see me. Alright. So the last final that I'm going to talk about is health assessment. Again, same setup, and I like this setup a lot, so I might definitely I think I will use this when I am studying for my finals for J2. But this is my list. I did not go over reproductive at all. Like, our last test, I knew that like the back of my hand. I really did. So I went over all the other stuff. Bedside assessment did not go over. But as you guys can see, these are all the chapters we had. And I basically went through and I started studying, and then my friend Maya, she's the one who told me to try to study from the lowest grade to the highest grade, so that if I have to cram a little bit, then I'm like more reviewing that stuff that I already knew, because I made a high grade on that test. Love that woman to death. We actually just started studying together, but I wish I had found her earlier, because that studying with people who study like you thing that I heard on so many videos, like y'all are gonna get a video like that from me in a week or two, but like it's so true in so many ways, and I'll make sure I explain that later. But for this test was different. It was different. It was not repeat questions. It wasn't like all repeat questions. We did have some new information, some new stuff we needed to learn. A lot of stuff on here was I knew it, but I didn't review that specific thing because I didn't think it was going to be on the test. So it was more similar to fundamentals. I knew the information. It was somewhere in my head. I just couldn't pinpoint the exact thing I needed for that specific question. On this test, I made a 79. To pass this class, I needed a 72, 75, somewhere in there. I made a 79. So I ended this class with a B as well. This class was like very touch and go with me. I can't explain that. Our fundamentals class, I knew how I was going to study for that one. I read the PowerPoint. I reviewed EAQ questions. I read the PowerPoint, review EAQ questions, teach to myself, write on the... Like, I knew how I was studying for fundamentals. Pharmacology, write my papers, write my paper charts, and review my paper chart. Write, review. I knew how I was studying for pharmacology. Health assessment was so different. We had two very different teaching style teachers, and I enjoyed how one of our teachers taught, because she made it a little more engaging. Like, it was very engaging. But our other teacher, she's the main teacher for the class, I believe, and her teaching style is very bland, to say the least, but she gives you all the information. Don't get me wrong, you need a large coffee to get through this woman's class, but she gives you every bit of information you need. And then when I had problems figuring out how a question would be phrased for this information, then I went into EAQs, but that's just for that teacher study style. Halfway through the semester, they changed the teachers. And the way she taught what was on the slide. I don't know how to explain. She taught what was on the slide, but then there was like a gallon of information in her notes section. So it was like the first teacher, the main teacher, she put so much information on her slides, it was overwhelming sometimes. I would turn the page in my PowerPoint notes and I'll be like, I have to read this slide. Like, I have to read the whole thing. It's humongous. It's too much information. I still enjoyed going through her PowerPoints way more because I knew all the information was there. And then with this other teacher, I had to take the information out of the notes, put it into the slide, and then print them out. And my slides look so much different from my peers because they didn't do that. They just opened the PowerPoint and PowerPoint document, and they read the notes as they were reviewing the slide. No, I want to be able to print it out and not have to look at the PowerPoint again, because the way I study, it didn't match with how she taught. And it's the fact that she changed mid-semester. So I thought I was getting in a groove with how I was studying, and I was not at all whatsoever. So that's what I'm telling you guys, the way this class is set up. If it's set up the same way for J2 Spring 2022, J1 Spring 2022, please take advantage of this video and just listen to how one class was just it was just one teacher was teaching way different than the other. So you want to be very flexible. You want to stay flexible. I think that's what was wrong with how I took the semester. I started flexible, figured out how to study with that teacher, and I just tried to force my study habits onto how the other teacher teaches, and maybe that's not what I should have done. But came out of the class with a B, needed a 72.5, made a 79. So, okay guys, that was the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed all this information that I put out. I know this video is very long, specifically because of the end of the video, but I really wanted to give you guys that information exactly how I gave it to you guys. I hope I'll remember to put timestamps at the beginning of the video so you guys can only look at what y'all wanted to look at. But overall, I hope you guys really enjoy this video, and please use this video if you need it. After you get into the semester, if you realize, hey, I remember something she said that might help me, please come back to this video. This video, I want to be a resource for you guys, because it really helped me out to see other people in that situation. So especially for the J1s here at Valdosta State University, first of all, congratulations on getting into the program, and second of all, please text me anytime, DM me, my Instagram, all my ads are down below. Please hit me up if you need me, or make a comment below and I'll text you back with one of my apps and we can have a conversation. I am here for you guys. So please enjoy your holiday season and come back strong for the next semester. I'll see you guys later. Bye.